bright daylight, never running from a real fight. She is the one named Sailor Moon. If it wasn't obvious already, we're talking about Sailor Moon, the iconic Sailor Moon, versus Sailor Moon Crystal. Now, I already know that majority of you are going to say, oh, the original is better, blah, blah, blah. But this is why the thumbnail is saying the good and the bad. Because both of them, I think they're pretty great in their own right. So let's get to it. Now, according to my list scores, other people also think that the 90s version is better, going by the scores. But once again, they're just scores. They're other people's opinions. Yeah, but it looks like Sailor Moon Crystal's third season is really good. It's up there with the highest scoring of Sailor Moon franchise, which is, I have it written down right here, Sailor Moon S, score of 7.88, or I guess rounded up 7.9. And then you have Sailor Moon Crystal Season 3, which is 7.75 or 7.8. So, yeah, just want to put that in there. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about our main voice cast. I don't know if there are any people who watch the sub. If you did, comment down below. But if you grew up with watching the dub, which one? Because there's a few of them. I grew up with the Cloverway dub. You see this with the VH tapes? Is that backwards? I can't tell. No, it's upside down. Yeah, I don't know where the cover is. I'd find it if I knew where it was. But yes, we got the little VH tapes with that to pioneer entertainment. These were the times where Usagi was called Serena and Mummer was called Darien. Linda Valentine as Usagi is the one I grew up with, just to give you an insight on how she felt on doing this iconic role. In an article by Michael Mamano, Linda says, "I got the part of Sailor Moon." And he said, she's talking to a friend of her husband's friend. "Well, you better be good, because my kids watch." And then she said, "Oh my God, I got this part that is so already iconic. It's huge. My nieces watch it. It has to be huge. What am I going to do? What have I done? This is terrifying." She struggled and was frustrated with her performances every now and then. Her husband said, "You have to make this your own." There are times where she said, "I can't do this anymore. They don't want me. They want Terry." Eventually, she got it together and said, "This is who I think Sailor Moon is. This is who my Sailor Moon is." End of story. Because, yeah, sometimes when people redo certain roles, it could be a lot of pressure that's already been done by other people. So give her a break. Don't be hating.
Coming, right, Amy? We can take one day off, study buddy. No matter how nasty she is to me, I think in her own way she still is kind of cool. I know she really is a very good friend. She's okay.
You have a charming...
Mercy, bonjour, sweet souffle omelette. Take heart, take heart, take heart! I'm not a traitor, I'm just being spineless. Really? Good for him. Darn you, Lumino. I'm so gonna make you... Story, I bet that you actually volunteered, right? You love putting on a show. You were just putting on a show a second ago.
I love Linda. Right now, I didn't even realize that I haven't watched Sailor Moon from the beginning until I got the DVDs. See that? Get in there. Alright. So, in 2014, the North American manga and anime distributor Viz Media acquired Sailor Moon, the series, as well as the 3 films for an English language release in North America. Viz Media hired a studio to redub the entire series. Sailor Mercury / Ami Mizuno, played by Liza Balkan and Kate Higgins. Sailor Mars / Ray Hino, played by Katie Griffin and Christina V. Sailor Jupiter, Makoto Kino / played by Susan Roman and Amanda C. Miller. And Sailor Venus, Minako Ayano, played by Emile Claire Barlow. I believe that's how you say your name. Sorry if I didn't. And Jeremy Lee. Both of these counterparts, I don't have a problem with either one. I could go either or. Mamoru and Usagi's relationship. In the original, the romance didn't happen overnight. Most of the time, you would see Mamoru teasing Usagi. One of those hate to love tropes. He's come off pretty childish majority of the time. Plus, Rei went on a few dates with him. She's supposed to end up, or I would have liked for her to end up with Yuichiro, or I knew him as Chad, later on in season 1. There's an episode titled, The Painting of Love. Usagi and Mamoru get closer, which is pretty self-explanatory. They get hired as models for a pretty well-known artist, but they don't really know her true face because she's feeling insecure, and so of course she gets inspired by Usagi, and Mamoru gives her tough love. But anyway, main part of that episode, I would say, or for the story, their story, they look at a painting of hers, and they get this feeling that this is fate, or I feel nostalgic, and something's happening, or okay. Moving on. In Sailor Moon Crystal, it's like a fateful encounter when they meet for the first time, so you should already know that the romance is going to be turned up. Mamoru himself is more mature. More importantly, in Crystal, Mamoru is in high school, while Usagi is in middle school. In the original, Usagi is still in middle school, but Mamoru was in college. So when they get together, it's not as weird or inappropriate. Anyway, one thing I love about Crystal is how Usagi learns about Tuxedo Mask's identity. The episode called Mamoru Chiba, Tuxedo Mask, takes place in Mamoru's apartment, or at least the first half does. He's telling Usagi why he needs the silver crystal to get his memories back. They both had a heart-to-heart, and it's my favorite episode of season 1 of Sailor Moon Crystal. Different character developments. Kunzite and Zoisite were lovers. They were together, a couple in the original series. They cared for each other. Apparently in the Dick dub, Zoisite was made into a female so they wouldn't have any problems in the West. Back in the day, censorship is heavy. Still heavy now. And we can only have heterosexual relationships on screen in the anime community. Luckily, in the Viz Media dub, Zoisite and Kunzite were once again together as a couple. Zoisite even says, I would give my very life for you, to Kunzite. Now, in Sailor Moon Crystal, the 4 Kings of Heaven later learned that they're the 4 guardians of Earth's Crown Prince, Endymion, also known as Mamoru in the future. They sold their souls and was made into servants of Queen Beryl. Sailor Venus reveals that the 4 Heavenly Kings and the 4 Sailor Guardians were lovers. Speaking of the Sailor Guardians, they seem a lot more mature compared to the original anime. Maybe it's because in Sailor Moon Crystal, they don't waste time with a bunch of filler episodes and they get to the serious stuff. But to be real, they get straight to the storylines in all the seasons of Sailor Moon Crystal. You kind of miss the filler episodes. At least I do, because sometimes it gives you character development and just a breather, just to let them be themselves. Season 1. We have the Dark Kingdom arc. Queen Beryl, played by Cindy Robinson in the Viz Media dub. Then we have the 4 Kings of Heaven who serve Queen Beryl. Jadeite, played by Todd Habercorn, my favorite. Nephrite, played by Liam O'Brien. Zoisite, played by Lucian Dodge. I'm sorry if I didn't say your name. Right. And Kunzite is played by Patrick Sates. You might know Patrick Sates as Dio or Endeavor. But the very first major role would be Kunzite. Their goal is to steal life energy from humans. They need to obtain the silver crystal to free their great ruler. Season 2 for the original anime is called Sailor Moon R. The first half of this season is dedicated to the Makai tree arc. Two sibling aliens named Ale and Anne. They believe they need to gather life force energy to give to the Makai tree. In Crystal, they completely exclude that arc and get straight to the Black Moon arc. So I guess it wasn't in the manga, the Makai tree arc. It just needed some time for them to actually include the Black Moon arc in the original series. That's what I've read. We get introduced to Chibiusa, also known as Sailor Moon, Sailor Mini Moon. Just to let you know, on my anime list, Season 1 includes the Dark Kingdom arc and Black Moon arc together. On Hulu, Season 1 is just the Dark Kingdom arc. Season 2 is the Black Moon arc. To be honest, I don't have much to say about Season 2, so let's just get into Season 3. One of my favorite seasons. I think most people's favorite. This is the season I grew up thinking this was the beginning. It's a new evil, of course. That evil is known as the Death Busters. They're looking for pure heart crystals. They're not the only ones looking for them. Here comes one of the best characters from the series, Sailor Uranus, played by Sarah Lefleur, and Erica Mendez, and Sailor Neptune, played by Barbara Radecki and Lauren Landa. In the Cloverway dub, their names were Amara and Michelle. I love the name Amara. But their Japanese names are Haruka Tino and Michiru Kayo. They're looking for 3 talismans to save the world. In the Cloverway dub, they made Haruka and Michiru cousins. I don't know about you guys, but they're way too close to be considered as anything but a couple. Plus, in Crystal, they made it pretty clear that they were a couple. Or they are a couple. Plus, Sailor Moon. In Crystal, Usagi wants to know if Haruka is a man or a woman. She's confused and asks, "How should I treat you?" And Haruka responds, "Is my sex that important? Can't you just see me as me?" In the beginning, they seem real cool and mysterious. The first scene we get introduced to their secret identities is at the arcade. Haruka's playing a racing game with Minako and she gets beaten. And of course, Minako has fallen in love with him. Thinks he's a he, but is cleared up and later on in that same episode. In Crystal, everybody gets to see Haruka in person for the first time. However, in the original, I loved the episode that was... I just skipped around, but we're moving on. That was dedicated to Haruka accepting her fate and how her past memories were awakened. This probably showed how important their mission was. They were willing to do anything to get the job done, and in Cold-Hearted Uranus, Makoto in Danger episode, Haruka and Michiru became friendly with Makoto in order to make her bait for the enemy. This caused the Sailor Guardians to question if they were friend or foe, especially Sailor Jupiter. She even got into a fight with Sailor Uranus. This also happened in Crystal, the Infinity 2 Ripples episode, except they were their normal selves. Rei went to the mountains to train and wanted to purify herself for her birthday. The whole gang ends up going to the mountains to celebrate her birthday. But Rei he wanted to investigate the Mugen Academy. They happened to be nearby as well as Haruka, who is practicing judo. Can you see how this goes? Haruka wanted to see if any of the girls wanted to spar with them. Makoto got defeated. Minako was like, "How could you throw a girl like that?" And then Haruka responds, "Why should I treat her any differently? Her gender doesn't matter. She's weak because she's weak. There's no excuse. You can either protect what's precious or you can't." That kind of hit. It's like, whoa, okay. But overall, I think I'm done talking about the seasons. But I really do miss the filler episodes in the 90s anime. But Sailor Moon Crystal, I did enjoy the pacing. It was different, and even the monsters. I kind of missed the monsters, how they made people monsters. I know, awful. But it was creative. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about the transformations / new moves. The transformations are pretty classic. You could see Sailor Moon inspiration in other anime or other cartoons. I'll try to find some examples. In the first season of Crystal, it was a bit much. And they add CGI. It wasn't necessary. Luckily, in season 3, they got better. And it looked like the original. Just the original with a little more flair. Here's something I noticed. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. In Sailor Moon Crystal, they yell out a bunch of moves I've never heard of. For example, Sailor Jupiter has a flower hurricane move and a Jupiter coconut cyclone attack. Tuxedo La smoking bomber. And Mars snake fire. I don't know. I guess I had to get creative. Who knows? Like I said, comment down below if you remember all those moves. And finally, my favorite characters in Crystal. Basically, it's me picking characters that I think look even better in the Sailor Moon Crystal art style. So I think I'm just gonna put in a video of it. I'm not gonna tell you every single thing. So let me just play that for you real quick. Alright, if you made it this far of the video, thank you for sticking around. I didn't talk about Season 4 or Season 5 because, for one, Season 4 I'm going to talk about in a separate video because the 2 movies of Sailor Moon Eternal, which covers Season 4, that's together. But we have yet to have the arc of Season 5 in the Sailor Moon Crystal art style, so we're gonna wait until that comes out for me to do a video on that together. But I will be doing Sailor Moon Eternal and Sailor Moon Super S, which is Season 4, in a video in the future. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos in the future. And like I said, comment down below if you've watched Sailor Moon, which dub you watched, all the good stuff, and check out that article I mentioned earlier in the link description box below. I'm Michaela. I'll see you later. Bye.